Welcome back to our last review session. It is Monday, December 6th, and most students have already got enough points in class for passing, and not many students are in the class or online, but we can see here the idea of global Englishes are obviously important. The idea of chapter 1, how to be familiar with, hopefully you can see with my screen, how you can be familiar with the idea of global citizenship. And most of that relates to this. So we have gone through a lot of different files, and the overall student requirements were to help students not only learn about global citizenship, but also to learn how to develop towards their career goals and life success. And by doing that, you need to obviously study, work, network, and strategize seriously, plan goals. Planning is not a popular thing in Korea compared to other countries. So you need to be able to start learning about yourself, start planning quite a bit about yourself. That's discussed here, who you are, learn and develop yourself. Usually the most successful people do that, and they plan at least 15 minutes daily and know themselves inside, outside, backwards. They know themselves very well. After they know themselves, and only after they know themselves, then they're able to most successfully interact with people from other cultures or anybody, actually. And so to learn about yourself, there are these websites that we were talking about in class. Everyone should go through this www.humanmetrics.com. or a similar website, which is called www.16personalities.com. And the idea of learn about your culture, learn about who you are, what is your culture, what are your characteristics, what is your natural way to live and work, what is your natural way to communicate, what is your natural way to learn and interact with other people. Because only after you know those things, you know who you are. You are not a person that just eats kimchi or eats hamburgers or pizza or spaghetti from Italy. You are much more complicated than that. And throughout the semester, we have talked about many different specialists, researchers that identify what a person's culture is made of, such as Gert Hofstede or Trompenar or Schwartz or Cluckhorn or the Globe Project. There's many different experts proposing ways to understand your culture. And it's not just a national culture, it's a group of people, and it can be older or younger. It's shared values. So you need to understand what your values are first, and afterwards, then you can understand and identify and learn how to interact successfully with other people. So learn that, and then once you know who you are and your plans, then you need to start thinking about what activities you can do to develop in order to get your dream goals and success. And while most people start at the bottom and just try to plan their way by climbing the stairs, research shows that it's far easier to plan thoroughly and identify what your life dreams and goals are, and then work backwards. The idea of what you want in 20 years is a certain amount, and then in half of that time, in 10 years, you should have half of that goal, or at least the foundation ready in order to achieve that. And then in half of that time, in 5 years, you need that other half. So you start up here, that's step one, identifying your goals and who you are. And then step two is identify half of the amount of those goals in half of that time, and keep working backwards from 20 years to 10 years to 5 years, 2.5 years, 1 year, 6 months, 3 months, 1.5 months, down to this week and today. What do you need to do to be successful? And if you plan it out properly, there's millions of things you could do every day, but you should strategize and focus on the things that are most important, but actually not urgent just for today. Usually the things that are urgent and important are accidents, like getting hit by a car or a bus. Those things you have to take care of, but you shouldn't waste your time if you can avoid them. And so you should plan, focus on things that are important, but not urgent, to plan for the future. And then you need to identify what activities you can join to get your goals. What skills should you learn to get your goals? Who can help you get your goals? And then once you identify who you know and how you can connect to these people at a higher level, then try to interact with them. Because if they learn and connect with you, they can pull you up so you can get your dreams and goals much faster. And so we are focused on identifying your own characters, your own values, values of other people, how they're different, and then we identify the other people's values, and we talk a lot about communication. In this class, there's 2 big lessons. The idea that you need to know who you are and how other people are probably different, number 1. And then number 2 also is a 2-part lesson. You need to understand when you're communicating, there is a very big chance things are going to be lost in that message. So you need to check you're understood. And a lot of people may just think, okay, if I translate it, it's good enough. Well, no, you need to translate your message, make sure the listening person understands the translating message, but there can be translation mistakes or cultural mistakes, interpretation mistakes. So the second part is you must check not only your message is translated properly, but your intention is understood. So check if the other people understand what you're trying to say, and most often get words or ideas from them on how to change the message so it matches their culture and their values more than yours. And throughout the course, we talked about that. We need to attend the class, university requirements. We have to attend everything. If you miss more than 30%, you fail. Participate either a little bit each day, or if you want to participate and give a big weekly presentation, you might be able to get 10 marks for each of those. Everything else is slowly focused on you learning about global citizenship. So in week 3, you need to identify what part of global citizenship, what part of the class you are interested in and why it's important. What are the general details? Why should somebody else care? That is part of an introduction. And then in week 5, you need to identify what other people are saying about it. And you can talk about your neighbor, what they're saying about it, or the drunk on the street corner, what they're saying about it. But if you want to be respected and considered reliable internationally, you need to be able to identify what other reliable, respected people are writing and researching about the topic. So you need to do a background check, check the literature, and have a literature review showing what the most important people in literature are saying specifically about your topic. And it has to be specific, because if you generalize, knowing that other people have different values and interpretations and culture, that generalization can be misunderstood. So try to be as specific as possible and show the background, and then support whatever your plan is. And so we talked quite a bit about that. And then at the last class last week, people have already presented some projects. These are all links to explain how to do research if you care about the academics, how to actually understand proper referencing to be respected and reliable, how to do surveying so you can interact with other people. That should help. And then we talked about the idea of when you're trying to communicate, if you want to be a specialist almost anywhere in the world, it's a good idea to make sure when you're communicating with somebody to identify what is your topic, what is your intention first, so they know what you're talking about. They might understand some of the words, but think you're talking about something different. So you need to talk about the summary, the abstract. What exactly is your topic? What are you actually trying to teach? And then you can explain those details. Why the topic is important, what other people are saying, what your research focus is, how you're tackling those details in your methodology, what you have found, what you think your evidence details mean, and then your references. And that generally in science, in academics, is called abstract, introduction, background literature, methods, results, conclusions. And of course, you must reference people properly. So we've gone through that. We've talked about how you can use information from anybody, but you must accept that some people are liars. Some people are talking, but have no idea about the reality. Some people don't know the truth. They are living in a fantasy land. So you must know also not just what people say, what any blogger says, or social media, or Wikipedia says. It could be anything. It could be lies, but it's said, which is good, and it's new, and it's real time. It's current. That's good. So that's not really fully reliable or checked by experts, but it's new. And then you also need to understand what might be a little bit older because it's checked by experts. So the most reliable information is the Web of Science information. And for business, management, social sciences, it's the Social Science Citation Index journals. Those are the best, but they're so advanced, they're a little bit complicated. It's easier to understand the next level, very respected information through Scopus. Scopus is an association of the world's commonly known, commonly respected, very reliable journals, and they're easy to identify through this website, scopus.com. We can also find it through school libraries, if they're good libraries. If you're focused on marketing, the world's most reliable journal is the Journal of Marketing. And then number two, it's the Academy of Management Annals and the Academy of Management's journal. Other than that, then it's the Journal of Marketing Research or the Academy of Management Perspectives. These are for marketing. These are for international business and management. Use these for the most reliable, most respected information when you are trying to learn about another culture or about other people and about how to interact with them. This is the most reliable information you can use. And then you can go through and do your surveying or find other materials. So we have that. We've seen there's for global citizenship, before we get into the idea of just communicating and understanding somebody else, it's a good idea to understand the business side of it. And so here is a super famous paper that is only, I believe, 6 pages, sorry, it's 8 pages long, but it's super famous. And at the same time as they talked about what 2 famous books said, one book said this, another book said this, and then he thinks based on those details, it's a good idea to survey several people and the people support what he says. So he's teaching something about how people from every culture have certain beliefs. And some people may say, for example, money's important. But if you check carefully, you will see in USA, growing the business, number 1, but personal wealth is the next most important thing in most people's lives. And then there's many other things that are important or less important. However, if you go to Denmark or in China, that idea of personal wealth is almost discouraged. It's the least important factor motivating people. For example, they are more focused on respecting ethical norms or patriotism and national pride, and then power or honor, face, reputation, responsibility to society, which is usually lower ranked in USA. So people can say what they care about, but the level could be the complete opposite. So if you're having a conversation about, I'm interested in wealth or personal wealth, yes, people in Denmark, people in China will understand you because they also will identify it is important, but for them, it's the lowest level of importance relatively compared to in USA. And so if you don't grasp that intention, your meanings can be completely lost. So this paper talks about that. And then he's also doing the smart business. He is referencing himself a lot. If he has something like 30 references, about half of them are referencing himself. So he becomes famous super fast. Every time you are referenced, you become higher, more respected in Google and the internet than somebody else. And he also references this journal. By referencing this journal a lot, it's easier for that journal to accept your values, to accept what you're saying, and to promote you, to publish you. So there's business side of communication also. Overall, for young people trying to do cross-cultural communications, it's best to find an expert and try to match their styles. Try to do the same thing they're doing. If you're writing, find a written, published, respected article and try to write in the same style and the same format. Maybe even using the same research questions, but you can change details a little bit for your new topic. And it's the same thing when you're traveling, even on a honeymoon or a backpacking vacation. Try to find other people in that area, learn what they care about, learn what they're saying, learn how they're saying it, learn where they're saying it, learn all of those details of their activities, and try to replicate those details, learn those before you even start traveling. So again, research that other area and try to replicate. However, when you start doing something, when you start going to another country, there will be stereotypes. There will be examples that you will misunderstand. And there will be translation snafus, situation normal, all frigged up. So you should start by saying, I love the culture. I'm very honored to be here. I'm happy to be here. I hope you guys can help me fit into your culture. And I hope you can forgive me if I misunderstand something. And if I say something that you feel is bad or uncomfortable, please tell me it's probably a miscommunication and help me improve our communications. So it's not just a translation problem, it's an intention management thing. So we go back and we go through, talk about the summary of what you're trying to talk about why it's important, what you think, what you've seen other people doing and saying, and how you are trying to do the same thing, and then what you're trying to say, and then check. Is there any problems with your methods? Is there any problem with your cultural communications? Is there any problem with your global citizenship activities? Reference where you got the information from. So those types of details should be able to help. When you're doing this, if you do good research and you can help other people learn about it, you can also show the articles that you found, which sometimes are very valuable in the library, share this with the other organization. That alone should be very valuable for them. If you put it into a presentation, it should be extra value added. You're helping them, so you could be considered staff or inside helping them grow. That's one way to get an internship. And then if you want to do even more, this is basically, it could be point form. you can put it into an essay form, and that not only that report can be given to the other person, that organization in another culture, it can also be given to a magazine or journal or student newspaper and published. If you do publish it, it will grow your career quite a lot at the same time as you travel and enjoy life. So there's lots of details here. Overall, whatever you want to do, if you want to just be a global citizen by traveling lots for vacation, fine. If you want to be a big business person or an artist, fine. Make sure you understand your target, what you want, learn about them, research about them, and you can, if you research properly in advance and prepare wisely, you can bypass all other travelers in life or in cultural tours and become more successful, happier with your results. So please consider that. Develop as a specialist, share your research, add to your resume, make, for example, LinkedIn, your online presence, like in social media, known so other people know who you are and can they trust you, or are you just a crazy backpacker running away from the law? So start developing that as soon as possible so that you can not only have success with you, but help other people. And at the same time, there are ways that when you do that, even in class, you learn about another culture, you can write a paper about another culture. If you just finish in class, it's not very good. Look at the big picture, look at the world, write your paper for that other, another local company you want to help. Maybe you can give it to them as a consulting report or research report, trying to learn about them. And your paper can be, for example, as we said, published and help you develop your resume. But while you're helping companies anywhere in the world, you should also understand there's huge trillion-dollar companies that are so rich, they give money back to society all the time. And a lot of them will give money back to educational projects like your student research project. So you can present your research project to a very big multinational company and they may be able to fund your activities. That is called the grant, corporate social responsibility grants. The Ford car company, like Tesla, GM, Toyota, Ford car company, for many years, they have been giving away millions and millions of dollars away to students. Usually, they require students or professors to apply for this grant money just with 400 words. Basically, it's a text message. And you could get hundreds of thousands of dollars or sometimes even $1 million from these companies to learn for your world tours or your world research. So learn about those things. We will talk a lot about that. Also, the idea of whatever you're going to be doing, it's best if you interact and learn from others. So we have a global citizenship and a research writing Facebook group, and you can see several members are interested in the same thing. And there's a lot of files that other people interested in the same thing share their files. So you can learn a lot here, share information here, and go ahead and discuss various details here. There's lots of different posts. I encourage you to join this stuff and continue to develop. That's about it. There's a few other things that we have in our university textbook that talks about global citizenship, but we will cover most of this pretty easily. For example, the idea of how to formally introduce yourself. That idea of, we're learning how to acknowledge significance and necessity of character education. Again, what is your character? What is your personality? What is your learning style? What is your communication style? How are other people different? There's at least 16 different types of personalities and characters, according to Carl Jung. And there's at least 4 different ways of learning or communicating. There's several different ways to do this for each of these. So students are going to learn these things throughout the classes. We'll talk about those things, but overall, that's the main point for our class with global citizenship. I look forward to meeting you, talking to you, and helping you on your process. Contact us anytime. As you can see here, here are our contacts. Let me just share these, and then we can end for today. That's about it. Thank you very much, guys. Please stay in touch. Again, today's December 6th. It's Monday before Christmas. I am available not just through the office, but through Facebook, through Zoom, through WhatsApp, through many different contacts, LinkedIn, the email address, drseanwatts.teaching@gmail.com. Please contact us anytime. Have a good day.